Hey. That's right. That's right. We are back. Back up in here, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Time to do that. Time to do that. What's love got to do with it trailer? You know what I mean? But before we jump into that, y'all know how we do. Please go back and check out the BMT news. You know what I'm saying? Especially or if you are here because of Tina and Ike. You know what I'm saying? Or the Ike and Tina review. Uh, Go back and check out the BMT news, man. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gave them their flowers. Touched a little bit on their accomplishments. You know what I'm saying in life and things of that nature. So definitely go back and check that out. But spoiler review. Let's just say this one more time, even though the movie came out in 1993 before some people were even born, man. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean everyone have watched this movie. Okay, so we're gonna say spoiler alert. We will definitely be doing a deep dive into this movie, and that movie is What's Love Got to Do with It? You know what I'm saying? Story of Tina Turner, based on her book I, Tina. So we're gonna do a deep dive, and y'all know how we do, man. We got to set this thing up for y'all. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and just dive into this trailer real quick and see what we got coming up. So get ready for the trailer of What's Love Got to Do with It. And Bree, if you don't mind, please roll that beautiful bean footage.
Jesus, you know my Jesus. He said it's time to let my little light shine. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Young lady, what is wrong with you? Cut out all that wild gyration and blues shouting.
All she ever had was her voice and her dreams.
Your mama had to go away for a while.
When is she coming back to get me?
She ain't, honey. She just ain't.
All she ever wanted was a chance to make her dreams come true.
Every woman in here want to sing with Ike's band.
Oh, please don't leave me, baby.
That girl can sing! Girl, you shocked the hell out of me.
Say you want me to be his new singer.
Watch yourself. You know what they say about Ike. Darling,
Yes, Tina.
I think it's gonna work out fine.
It's gonna work out fine.
Priceless, girl. Priceless.
She priceless, all right. She ain't seen a dime of it yet.
Everyone who's come up with me has left me.
I wouldn't do that.
What the problem is?
I'm trying to help Ike, all right?
You trying to help Ike?
You got yourself a good man. You just keep him happy.
1, 2, 3, 4. She had given him everything he wanted.
You get in this car, Kevin. Get in the car.
You can't keep hiding black eyes from us.
I just can't walk out.
She never stopped believing things would change.
I just need a rest.
She's quite ill, and I'm not releasing her for at least another 3 weeks. Oh, no.
I need you to get out on that stage right now.
You a dead woman if you stay.
You can't get away from me, and I'm in here.
But if she ever wanted to find her dreams,
When you can see yourself clearly, your life will change.
she had to start believing in herself.
I made you. You wasn't nothing without me, and you ain't gonna be nothing without me.
I'll give it all up. Just release the claim on my name.
Means you're going to walk out of here with absolutely nothing.
Except my name.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a remarkable woman who refused to give up.
I'm ready. I'm ready, and I know what I want.
What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love?
And then right at the bottom they say the true life of come on, man. Oh man. Okay. Listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. This is my first time watching the trailer because, as we said, we were young, when the movie came out and so forth and so on. So I never saw it marketed as the true life of Tina Turner. You know what I'm saying? When clearly there are some things that they changed for the movie. You know what I mean? So that's just funny. But yeah, guys, that was the trailer for What's Love Got to Do with It. The true life of Tina Turner, according to their book and Hollywood, right? Yeah, man. It's funny because as that was playing, I did notice that even back then, some things make the trailers and it doesn't make the movie. That part with her grandmother saying, "Oh, your mom left," and so forth and so on, and you can actually see the grandmother talking to the little girl. That's not in the movie. they cut that out of the movie. So that's actually not in there, unless there's some director's cut that I haven't watched. But the main movie that you bring up, that's not in there. It's just a voiceover.
I think I remember seeing the truck drive off and hearing her say that.
That part you do. You see the truck drive off and you hear the voiceover of the grandma saying so forth and so on. You don't see the grandmother actually saying it to her though. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I only say that because I literally just watched this the other day and I was curious about why they never showed the grandmother, myself. But obviously they shot that scene, but they just put it in the trailers. Yeah, man. Definitely a good movie. Now, regardless of whatever I say, my feelings about it, whatever, the movie is good. I mean, even to this day, it's still a very, very watchable, entertaining movie. But like I said, as you get older, as your mind matures, as you go through experiences yourself, you tend to have a different take on it, and wonder, could it have been different if this, or could it have been different if that? Like Bree even mentioned herself, if drugs weren't involved, you know what I'm saying, would that had happened, if music wasn't involved, if they didn't have that looming over them to try to make hits and so forth and so on, would they have made it just as a couple, period, As we do know, finances can weigh heavy, you know what I mean, in a relationship. It definitely can affect a relationship. So, but anyway, man, that was the trailer for What's Love Got to Do with It, starring Angela Bassett as Tina Turner, or Anna Mae Bullock, and Lawrence Fishburne as Ike Turner before he became Morpheus. You know what I'm saying? We got a chance to see him as that. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. But first, I will touch on this cast real quick because, of course, you had some greats in it, like Jennifer Lewis playing her mother. And Jennifer Lewis, man, she's always looked the same to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people just don't age, man. God, that woman always looked the same. Penny Johnson Gerald, I've seen her and stuff too. She was, I guess, playing Ike's first wife, or however that was. And then Richard T. Jones, of course, we saw him in stuff later. He was in The Wood, saying something we're gonna do as a what we're gonna do, a hood classic later.
Classic.
Yes, sir. And then of course my boy Shy, is the Shy or Shy McBride. He was in Hoodlum with Lawrence Fishburne, of course. You know what I'm saying? That was another classic. We definitely got to touch on that. But he was playing Frost. And that's why I say, when it comes to them saying the true life of Tina Turner, they've already admitted that Frost was not a real person. You know what I'm saying? It was a fictional character. And so was Jackie, the person. Right. You know what I'm saying? So how could you say the true life if these were characters that they made up for the movie? You know what I mean? So that's just Hollywood, man, doing what they do. But yeah, man. But anyway, and I'm still looking at the girl, the one who played the little girl, Raven Larry Moore Kelly. She still looks like her, actually. That's what's crazy about it. Yeah, man. So anyway, good cast. Her sister is Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. Yeah, like I said, she played in quite a few things, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually surprised she wasn't higher up on this list over here. But anyway, man, I really like the cast. I think they all did an amazing job in here, actually. So, but man, I tell you, man, as I'm watching this movie and doing the research, the things that I know now, and listen, hold on, I didn't even see this just then. Michael Collier was the Apollo announcer. I didn't even know that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know I was well into what I was saying, but Michael Collier was the Apollo announcer. Did not know that at all. That's crazy. If y'all don't know who Michael Collier is, definitely a legend, you know what I'm saying? Comedic legend for absolute sure. You know what I'm saying? He was in House Party 3,
Hood classic
for show.
Showtime.
Yes, sir. I want to know if he host Comic View one time, or I think he hosted Comic View.
Something like
yeah, he hosted
Def Comedy Jam.
Comedy Jam. Yep, absolutely. And a lot of stuff, man. But definitely a super, super funny guy. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, man, as I'm watching this movie, man, and knowing the things that I know now, definitely rest in peace to these two greats. I feel a different way about it, different way about it. Of course, when you're younger, you're not knowing much about it. You're just seeing this woman getting beat on and abused and all these things, whatever. You label Ike as this monster and he's the bad guy, right? He's the villain and so forth and so on, and that's just as far as you go with it, and that's it. I think it's not fair to at least not look into Ike's life to see, well, then what brought him to that point? You know what I'm saying? Did he just come out of his mother's womb beating on his mama? You know what I'm saying? Pulling on the umbilical cord too much or something because he was just born with that? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some origin. As my boy X always says, he had an origin story. And if you look into it, you may look at the movie a little differently. At least I did. You know what I mean? And definitely, as we've said, it's a little one-sided if you're just looking at Tina's perspective and Hollywood's as well. Especially where we are in today's world, of course. You know what I'm saying? With cancel culture and everything. You know what I mean? But for me, I definitely still like the movie because this is the movie review. You know what I'm saying? I still like the movie, but I realized as soon as I finished watching it, I was like, man, this movie seems really short. It seems really, really short in comparison to today's standards of 2.5 hours, right? Like 2.5 hours now is like, you know what I mean? You just go into a movie expecting to be in there for 2.5 hours, right? This movie was 1 hour and 58 minutes. And even though it is almost 2 hours, it still felt short to me because I'm like, something's missing from this movie. And now I know what it is. As I watched an interview with Lawrence Fishburne recently, I learned a lot of stuff. One, that he had turned down a role for Pulp Fiction. And of course, the girl was asking, well, what role is that? And he looking like, come on. You know what I'm saying? What other role would it be in Pulp Fiction, right? It was only one black dude, right? But yeah, the role for that made Sam a star, basically. And also learned that he turned down the role of Ike Turner 7 times, or several times, I would say.
At least 5.
At least 5, right? And for the reason that I feel the same, the way I feel about this movie now, because Ike's character wasn't written too strongly. It was pretty one-dimensional. He was violent, wife beating, coke addict. That's it. There's your motivation. You know how they ask, what's my motivation? Right there. Coke addict, woman abuser. That's it. That's all you got to do. But he said he was there to support Angela. You know what I mean? They had worked together, of course, before in what is it, Boys in the Hood?
Mm-hmm.
And they worked well, and he was there to support her. But he admitted himself, the writing was a little weak for Ike, and he would basically have rewrites almost every day.
They let him ad-lib a lot though.
Yeah, yeah, and good thing he did. So otherwise you would have, he would have made him. So to say what you want to say about him, he was an entertaining character though. You know what I mean? And people still quote him to the day. With some of the lines that he had in there. Even as we watching the trailer just then, one of my favorite lines too is, "You trying to help Ike? you trying to help Ike?" But yeah, man. So, listening to him talk about it made me look at that film differently as well, and it gave me my answer to why I didn't feel completely fulfilled by watching the movie. I felt like, man, this is just one person's perspective of this. What about him? What did he go through? So anyway, like I said, man, still is a good movie. But for me, I did walk away feeling like I was robbed of some of the story. And maybe they should have did a part 2. You could have got Ike's version of or something like that. But this definitely, you could definitely tell now, this was all her perspective of it and Hollywood's perspective. So I definitely would have appreciated, I would have sat through at least another 30 minutes of that if I would have gotten more of his story to find out why he did the things he did, why he felt the way he felt, and so forth and so on. And again, to make sure we give this disclaimer, we do not condone violence, on women, men, cats, dogs, anything, whatever, children, everything. Don't condone that, so this is nothing me giving him an excuse for what he did, not at all. But there is a reason people do things. There is something that happens in their lives that turns them into the people that they, become. And I would have liked to have explored that a little bit more in the movie. You know what I mean? to understand why he was doing what he was doing, or did he just wake up? Did he just wake up like that? You know what I'm saying? He just wake up to beat on women or something, or abuse them. But yeah, man, we do know that it starts off, of course, with her as a little kid, as you saw in the trailer, and she was in a Baptist church, so we know that's how she started before she got into Buddhism, and she was always destined to sing, obviously, but she had things that she went through, and I can't imagine how that would have would have felt to just one day come home and your parent, you know what I mean, your mother, your father, they're gone, they're out of there. No, peace, holler at you. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, not just take, just leave you, but take the other kids and leave you. You know what I'm saying? What kind of feeling is that? To feel abandoned like that. Like if you hadn't taken all the kids, okay, that's one thing. But you can take some of the kids and leave this one. That has to make you feel unwanted. But we flash from that. Like I said, we get the voiceover. She's raised by her grandmother until she passed. I think when she was 16 years old, and she came to live with her mother and her sister in St. Louis. And from there, of course she's country. You know what I'm saying, and everything like that, and bring her country ways up there. A little naive to certain things, especially the city life. And now she's going out with her sister, where her sister works at this bar. And of course, we got the man, Ike Turner, and the Kings of Rhythm. That's his band. And looks like they're doing their thing every night, right? You know what I'm saying? They're performing, and there's like they have a section or part of their show when they allow people to come up, women to come up and try to sing. Because as her sister said, everybody wants to sing in Ike's band. Ike is the man. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And here's where the first part of this is like, not exactly how that went. If you look at the comparisons to what happened in the movie, what didn't happen from what was reported, she did not, go up to the band, to the mic that way. From what I understood, that it was plenty of times that she went up to Ike and wanted to sing in the band. He was like, nope, or hey, yeah, I'll call you. Never called, so forth, so on. And from what I was, what I read, it was intermission. During the intermission, she went and basically grabbed the mic and started singing, and at that point in time, history. Yeah, and the rest is history. Exactly. So again, that's the first example of it not being exactly how the movie is, what I'm saying, stating it to be. But see, here's the dangerous part about that. There are so many people who take these movies so seriously, like seriously. Like people, especially people that watch like what you call them things, soap operas. Right, they literally are mad at the actor. Well, you left somebody or you cheated on them, you know what I mean? And they actually get mad at this person because they it's for real for them. You know what I'm saying? Like they really into that world, bro. And that's the dangerous part about the facts or whatever you're calling the facts, or naming this as something like a true life, you know what I'm saying, story of a person. Okay, well then we got to believe it now. You said it's true, so it's true, right? Everything you're putting in here is exactly how it happened, but it's not, But I do like to sing, though. I do like to sing, especially when they're going around the whole little club and all these different women are singing and they're terrible, you know what I'm saying? And of course, here comes little Annie Mae Bullock, you know what I mean? And she's got that, that like I said, a country girl look, you know what I'm saying? Innocent and everything, but she's got that powerful voice. And I think he even said, you sing like a man, you know what I mean? But she definitely had a very distinctive voice, when it came to singing. Yeah, There you go. You can definitely hear that. Absolutely. And it's funny too, man. I mean, you hear a lot of those singers, that's where they got their start, right? Singing in the choir.
R&B, rock and roll, some of the original black music all started from the church, if you go back and do some research. So
Yep. Absolutely. But yeah, man, it was that. So that was, that's starting off as a fun scene, and no hints of abusive nature from Ike at all or anything like that. Another thing that that we find out, as they showed in the movie, the one of the bandmates was originally trying to get with Anime Bullock, right?
Spider.
Right, Spider. Which we find out, I think he didn't even exist either. But cool, let's throw somebody in there, name him Spider, and okay. But what we find out later is actually her first child
came from one of the bandmates.
Boy, you did your homework. Boy.
Hey.
That boy did his homework. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Man, that boy's on it. CVR, boy, you came back with a vengeance, boy. I like it.
I see you.
You see him over here? Yeah, man. But he's absolutely right. Her first child was not with Ike. It was with one of the bandmates. So that's
okay.
You feel what I'm
Different
saying?
Perspective now.
You understand what I'm saying? So if when they have this in the movie and you're looking like, okay, Ike's he's got these 2 kids. Mm-hmm. She has no kid, right? And she's all innocent and perfect and everything like that. But you find out, well, she had a kid already. Yeah. And from what I understand, Ike adopted that kid.
He did. Changed his name, too.
Changed his name. And you know how he is about that Turner name. That's blood right there. That's blood. That's my daddy's blood now. Now, I don't know if y'all caught this. My hangout compadres. I don't know if y'all caught this in that trailer. Y'all should have, because I definitely caught it. But there was a part when he was like, and I need you to do this, man, and I need you to do that, and I need you, and right now, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what it's about, abusing people, right now, you know what I'm saying? I need you to get up in that booth right now. So
Right now.
yeah, that's something else, man. But oh yeah, man, yeah. I. So anyway, we're already showing you, we're debunking some of the things that they put in there to let you know that if you really want to know what happened, if you really want to judge Ike and say he's this type of person, at least have the decency to go back and look into this man's life and see what was really true and what wasn't. So anyway, all right, cool. So we got all that now. Now she's up there and she's he's like, hey man, I need you. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be with me, man. I mean, hey, you got what it takes, and this is the missing piece of this puzzle right here, right? He's got some background singers and, so forth and so on, but he doesn't have that right there. And from what you can tell, Ike was cool with playing the background in a sense. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't trying to be the lead in like that. He was definitely cool with stepping back and letting her do her thing. She's out there with the girl, they're dancing and whatever. He knows, he's a smart man. He understands. That's the attraction. That's what's going to get the attention of the people. You know what I'm saying? So he was definitely a smart man. I don't care what they try to say about the man. You don't know what it takes to coordinate multiple people, multiple musicians to make sure they're on point, make sure they're on time, make sure they're doing all they got to do. These dancers, make sure they look presentable, all this stuff here, dealing with the record companies, dealing with, bookings, you know what I'm saying? All these things here that you're doing on your own and doing that while black at a time, you know what I'm saying? When things weren't like the way they are now, when we were looked at, we were treated a certain kind of way. And so these are the things, like I said, people don't really look at. They just look at, he just beat her and that's it. So, but anyway, so I do like the part where they have to have the mother, and I don't know how true that is to the mother's character or whatever. As I looked at some of the clips of the mother, and I looked at Jennifer Lewis's performance, she was kind of on point, man. She actually sounded like her, actually. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to her mother's interview, Zelma Bullock, she actually kind of sounds like her. And she's, her thing is like, look, if you're going to be here, you got to bring in some money. You got to contribute. You can't be around here looking all cute. That ain't going to get the money up in here. And so, Ike comes up in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, Miss Bullock, I need your daughter now. I need her right now. I need her right now on this stage. And, start flashing a little money to her. So, boom, she's like, hey, girl, you better go up in there and get some of that money. You know what I mean?
Like said, I can get anybody in St. Louis to sing in my band. I want her.
But I want her. You know what I'm saying? Which was true. Obviously, right? You know what I'm saying? But he wanted her. And I like the part actually when he's like, I think some of my boys stepped on your flowers.
That's what got her right there.
That got her, dog. She looked at it like, Ain't none of them flowers stepped on, but he gonna give you some money anyway. Oh yeah, girl, you better go ahead with that man. You know, he even come apart and she was like, oh, "Girl, he just being a man." You know what I'm saying? She's like, "You better
You
stop.
got a good man.
You got a good man." You know what I'm saying? Oh my God! Because apparently, after the research we did, we found out that the reason her mother did leave was because she was being abused.
Yeah, she was running from an abuse.
She was running from abuse. Exactly. And now that's something powerful. Now, if you think about it, for her to say that about Ike, he's a good man, and she came from a man that was putting hands on her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He didn't have the money.
he had the money though, right? Money changes things, don't it, right? You know, the beat ain't so bad if you got a little money, right? I'll tell you, that's funny. Yeah, man. So that's how we're starting off. You know what I mean? You know, from the church to the club, and now with him saying, "Hey, you know, I got to have you in this band." And he got her. He got on in there. You know, and as we saw that, you know, she was anime. You know what I'm saying? He took her from being anime to now Tina, you know, got her, you know, fixed up and everything. I think they even had the one little part where her hair came out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what they was using. Were they using some kind of lye or something? What was that stuff called? Bantu. Remember Bantu straightened like, perm stuff, and it was something else I can't even think of. But apparently her hair came out and bleached her hair, and so now they had to put on wigs, and that ended up being one of the best things they could have done, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. I really do wish I would have known how it truly went. I haven't found anything to know how it truly went, but according to the movie, you know, he's he liked it, right? But of course they're so afraid of Ike that they thinking no, he ain't gonna like it and so forth and so on. But yeah, they like it, right? And now they got the wigs on, you know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing, you know, they got these, you know, and if you look at the outfits, actually, man, it seemed like it would be kind of provocative for that time. 1950s, right? I mean, they got the short stuff on, right? You know, and they're shaking. And there's a couple of times where I'm like, they kind of like they twerking a little bit. Actually, if you look at the movie, I'm like, oh, they was the original twerkers. You know what I'm saying? They was twerking before all that came out. But yeah, man, yeah. So they, you know, and again, like I said, Ike, man, you know, he's trying to put all this thing together. So Ike got fines. You know what I mean? You're late. your outfit ain't right, right? You know, $5, right? You find $5. And you can imagine probably $5 back then was a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you taking half my check, you know. Yeah, you play the wrong notes. You know what I'm saying? You miss you miss a step. You know what I'm saying? He was the original Joe Jackson, baby. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. But you know, unfortunately, that's just discipline. You know what I'm saying? Is how things have to be sometimes. You know what I mean? Now he might have been extreme with it, but was he wrong for having some certain rules in place? No. You know, the opposite of chaos. You know what I'm saying? Is order. You know what I'm saying? The opposite of order is chaos. You know what I mean? So if you don't have some order, you got chaos. You know. So now he might have brought it about the wrong way, but he wasn't wrong for having these certain things in place, right? If you want to be successful, and they became successful. So yeah, man. So for me, starting off, I'm you know, like I said, I'm vested in the movie. I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? Definitely going back into it now. I can look at that and say, I see why he had that in place. You know, to some people it may seem extreme. You know, if you're not in the music business, if you're not in any type of show business or whatever, that seems extreme. I don't think so now. You know what I mean? I can look at it and say, I see why you had to have certain things in place, you know, if you want things to be successful and so forth, so on. So again, like I said, man, perspective now, man, it's different, you know, and I'm already like, well, I haven't seen the bad yet. You know what I mean? I haven't seen the bad yet, right? And the bad doesn't come, of course, until the infamous pool party scene, you know what I mean? When he takes her into the house and oh my God, that's where it starts, right? And from that point on, it's like, oh boy, we in for the long haul on this one. But I'm trying to remember, did that scene come before or after she was pregnant with the kid, you know, when he took her out of the hospital?
I want to say that was after.
I feel like that was after, right? The pool party was after, right? Okay.
Yeah, because the kids was in there.
Yeah, you see at least three.
So I'm getting that wrong.
Absolutely. Right. So I'm getting ahead of myself because what I wanted to touch on was his first wife's, you know, attempted suicide, right? Um, and I don't know, because like I said, Tina already had a kid, and however that went, I don't know if it went exactly that way now.
I don't think it did.
You know what I'm saying? Because that already they setting you up to say, I get so bad that somebody would rather kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? They would rather kill themselves to be with this dude, right? So yeah, man. I don't know about that, but I mean, of course, that's unfortunate if she actually did try to do that and whatever. I would hope they just wouldn't completely make up something like that. But obviously, if we're talking about the movie, she attempted to kill herself and everything, and he tried to rush off to the hospital and all that stuff there, and comes back same night, and he's there with Anna Mae, and she's still there, and he's
Pity party.
Oh my God, man! There's the pity party, and he's that's what I'm like. If I'm looking at it from the movie, I'm like, God, you cold, bro. You the same night that your girl is in the hospial after trying to kill herself. Now you trying to hook up with, you know what I mean? Come on, dog. He's like, everybody's they always trying to leave me, and that's what she tried to do. You know what I'm saying? Try to leave him. He didn't even say, well, I feel bad because she tried to kill herself. But he's like, she tried to leave me. I'm like, golly, dog. And she's like, I would never do that, Ike. I would never do that. Never do that,
He knew he had her there.
He knew he had her right there, boy. Ooh, wait, dog. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm just looking at that like, ooh, boy, they set him up to look really monstrous, dog.
Bad.
I mean, so bad, dog. You ain't even worried about your girl in there almost dying, you know what I'm saying? You in there trying to get you some, you know what I'm saying, the same night. Like, boy, that's cold. So I definitely got to do a little bit more research on his ex-wife or whatever she was at the time. Yeah, man. So anyway, again, all these things that's being set up to definitely let you know, here's our bad guy, here's the monster, and here's all the things he did, right? Yeah, so we're going from that to now, she's in the group and everything, and they're, everything is going well, right? They're doing shows and so forth and so on, and next thing you know, she's pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's pregnant now, and she ends up sick or something like that. Could what is it? From exhaustion or something like that. She's exhausted and everything like that, and having the baby, and now you get the first thing that is saying, okay, maybe something wrong with Ike, because the doctor is saying, hey, look, she needs some rest, man. She just had a baby. Oh, but also this is what she finds out, that he changed the name to Tina Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But according to Ike, now that didn't happen like that.
It didn't happen. He wasn't even at the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. So here's another thing written for the movie, right? That he's in there filming and all this stuff here and all that. But according to Ike, he was not even there. And according to some other people too, that he wasn't even there right then.
He actually said she left the hospital on her own.
How about that? But but it sounds better if you say he made her leave the hospital, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he, Frost, who does now this fictional character picks her up, brings her out of the thing, and he proposes to her on the steps and everything, which is more of the most sweeter parts of the movie, right? That's a sweet moment, right? You know what I'm saying? He sings to her and offers the ring and so forth and so on. She sings back to him. Oh, it looks really sweet, right? But knowing now that didn't even happen, you know what I'm saying, dog, right? So again, man, yet another thing that was set up to make Ike look like he was just a monster. He doesn't even want his wife to rest after giving birth to a baby. He needs her right back on that. Then I need you right back on that stage now, So that's just him. And then from there, of course, now they did say that this was true, that they were in Tijuana. You know what I'm saying? Was it Tijuana?
Mm-hmm. Mexico. Yeah.
Mexico. But things didn't exactly play out the way they did.
They got married in Mexico.
They didn't get married, right? That didn't happen until like maybe 2 years later. Yeah. But again, if you watch the movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's in a limo and he's leaving her, so she running after the thing. And so when you go back and if you know the truth, or if you know some of the things, and you go back and you're like, man, they are really painting this dude to be the worst I mean, the worst, dog. You just get married and you're going to leave your wife in the limo. You're going to run off and she got to chase the limo. All of that stuff just looks bad, man. Just looks bad, Anyway, so, we're now past all that part, right? And the part that I'm getting to, the reason why I'm even saying this, because I'm going back to his ex-wife. And, they're at the house and, they got a kid together now and so forth and so on. And she pulls up.
They getting ready to move.
Right, they're getting ready to move. And she pulls up. What did she say to him, Ray?
Oh, you playing daddy now?
I knew he knew. I knew he knew. I hear you playing daddy now.
What the hell am I gonna do with 2 more kids?
Yeah. What the hell am I gonna do with 2 more kids? I'm like, raise them. What you think you gonna do with them? Just show us. He's making it sound like it was his neighbor's kids, right? What I'm gonna do with 2 more kids?
He was real pissed off too, for real.
What I'm gonna do with 2 more kids? That's mine, right? That was funny, man. That was funny. Again, yet another thing. I need to know that happened. Because if it didn't happen, man, this is just yet another thing to make him look like he is cold. Like he doesn't even want his own kids, right? Doesn't even want his own kids and to take care of them. Even though he's already adopted a kid that wasn't his, which was Tina's. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's see. So what they say, this actually happened. She gone to the bathroom and shot herself right in the side, hitting her lungs. Okay. So she didn't. So the fact that she go in the bathroom and closes the door, we automatically thinking, okay, she tries to shoot herself in the head or something like that, right? Now if she shot herself in the side, I don't know exactly what she thought was going to happen. That doesn't really sound like you were trying to kill yourself. Kind of sounds like maybe you were trying to. I'm going to say get some attention.
It could have been an accident.
It could have been an accident. It absolutely could have been. Thank you, bro. Because it could have been an accident, right? So we don't know that. But we do know that if you're watching that movie, it paints her, paints him, like I said, as a monster. I don't know why she looks so familiar to me. She looks like I've seen her in a movie or something before or something. I don't know, man. But she played a significant role in the life of Ike Turner. Had challenges just like everyone else does. They had 2 children, Ike Turner Jr. and Michael Turner. So those are the 2 kids that I guess that we see that she brings back. Man, I tell you, that's just, I don't know, man. If she didn't try to kill herself and they painted it like that, that's just, like I said, man, they just making that man look like he's just absolutely horrible. But again, man, like I said, not condoning or taking up for him or anything like that. I'm just trying to make a point of what Hollywood does and what people do in general. You know what I'm saying? They give their perspective of the situation. You have to at least do your research and look into the other person's, point of view. And then you yourself get to decide what you think actually went on and happened and who was in the wrong and so forth and so on. So, but anyway, yeah, man. So, like you said, what the hell I'm gonna do with 2 more kids, right? You know what I'm saying? But she, of course, Tina, she's the hero of the story. From what we are shown, it's not a big deal, right? Hey, just come on in, kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take care of you. Cool. I'm pretty sure there's some truth to that. You know what I'm saying? I would hope, you know what I'm saying, if she brought a kid in and he already had a kid, you know what I'm saying, that, she would have treated his kid the same way that he treated hers. You know what I'm saying? We're all family here, right? Long as you got that Turner name, right? You got that Turner name, you're good. Man, so, okay, now, we're debunking a couple things, right? We're debunking a couple things. But from there, what happened next, Ray? Where do we go from from that scene to...
Well, I'm gonna stick with the same thing, because that's when they got the check too, and they was like, and the mom was like, "Oh, I'm a fool in love too," and one of the women said, "Well, she ain't never seen a dime of that money."
Yeah, she said it was priceless, like priceless, right? Yeah, she
but
never seen a dime.
You can't make me believe she wasn't spending none of that money,
None of it, Ray. None of it.
None of it.
Like she got to see none of that.
No,
she didn't do the decorating in the house, nothing.
She has some. She spent some money, and she received some money.
I would think so. I would think so. They're married.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in the same house.
And he even said in the interview, you know, he was like, "Yeah, man, that's one of the biggest lies of the movie right there." You know, he even was trying to get her to get her own account, and she wouldn't do it. You know,
She want to stay with that joint account.
Yeah.
Like some people do. That absolutely happens. But of course, then you can't make him sound like a monster if you have a joint account. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have a separate account and so forth, so on, whatever. You know, you got to make him sound like a monster, bro. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have people say she don't see a dime of that money. Now I'll go even further to say that. I'm glad you brought it up because the person who said that was the fictional character.
Yeah.
It was Jackie, the person that they already admitted did not even exist. So you had a fictional character say something that probably did not happen. You know what I mean? But of course, you know, according to the movie, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because, you know, you got to remember, it said the true life.
The true
you know,
life. Huh?
Yeah. You know, now if Hollywood says it, right, you can't be disputing this, man.
I'm disputing.
But that's a good point that you brought up, man, because you as a man, you yourself know that how is that going to happen? How are you going to be able to make all this money and your woman sees none of it?
None of it.
Man, come on.
Sense.
Yeah, it don't make sense at all. So I absolutely agree with you on that. That just seems a little bit stretched up the truth, right? Now we've been giving our views on this so far. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too far, man, without, you know, our compatriots, you know what I'm saying, you know, having some thoughts in on this right, you know, right quick. But X, you know, Bree, SC, man, I mean, how do y'all feel so far, you know, from where we've gotten to so far in the movie? You know what I'm saying? What do y'all feel about it? Or not? Xamillion or Bree or anybody. Y'all are with us.
What was that? What's up?
Y'all still with us? Y'all still on break?
I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we was, you know, we breaking down the movie. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to see, you know what I'm saying, what y'all feel about what y'all heard so far. You know what I mean? About the movie.
Well, I felt like it was a very good movie. Angela Bassett did her thing. She made me believe that everything that happened was true. She played that to the fullest of her.
Now, I will say I will say we're already debunking some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We're already debunking some stuff, even though it says the true life of Tina Turner. We're already debunking some things that didn't actually happen in that movie, though. You know what I'm saying? Like these are actual facts. You know what I'm saying, that you could look up to see that everything they presented to you. And again, now keep in mind now, Bree, that that's their job, Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? They got to give you the sensationalized version of a movie, right? You know what I mean? Because that movie has to sell. And it sells a lot more when you have this obvious villain and you have this hero, right? Good versus evil, so forth and so on. That's the way of movies. And it's clear, it's very clear that they have painted Ike, they want Ike to be the villain, without a doubt. You know, he's the bad guy. And Tina's the hero. But when you have certain things that did not happen, like I said, her actually having a kid before that they didn't show, you know what I'm saying? They painted it as her not having a kid. Her first kid was with Ike. That wasn't true. You know, he didn't bring her out. He didn't take her out of the hospital the way they said. You know what I'm saying? You know, she left the hospital on her own.
So was she with him when that happened?
When what happened?
Were they together when she had the baby with the band member?
Oh, they were together. You know what I mean? They were together by then, but they didn't get married at the time that the movie said they got married. They got married 2 years after that. You know, and I don't think it was actually even in Tijuana, was it?
I don't know where they got married.
Yeah, I don't even think that was in Mexico. Now they did go to Mexico like they said, but they didn't. She wasn't. But what I guess what they're saying is that Ike wasn't at that hospital. You know what I'm saying? You know, when she had that baby. You know, so all that whole thing about, you know, taking her out of the hospital, not letting her get enough rest because he wants her to get right back on to show business. You know what I'm saying? Right to performing. Right. Yeah. No, that didn't happen like that. But yes, okay, yes, they did get married in Mexico, but not at the timeline that the movie gave you. It didn't happen exactly like that. So that's what I was saying. That was the whole point of the way we breaking it down, is because if you're going just off of what the movie tells you, then yes, you're going to automatically side with Tina.
You're gonna hate Ike.
You're gonna hate Ike guts the same way the way a lot of people did, and that's just it. And that's the movie did exactly what they wanted it to do. You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody coming to me to tell me, well, Breeze this and such and da 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 whatever, because that's their perspective and that was their experience with you. So now I got to go off of what they say and say, well, Bree, you're this and that because that person said that. Instead of just, well, let me find out about Bree myself and see what actually possibly happened, and then I can come up with my own opinion about who you really are, what I think went on in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Which is fair. That's how it should be. But Ike didn't get that treatment. You know what I'm saying? Ike got that movie, and that's just what everybody believed, and they was just like, nope, yep, that's exactly how it happened. So Ike, you're a monster from this day forth. You know?
So did they say anything apart about him beating her like the way he did? Because
Well,
I really feel like what?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Ike has admitted to hitting her.
Yeah, but he said he wasn't beating her like the movie.
But he said he wasn't beating her like the movie presented. Exactly, right. Now, that's a matter of opinion. I wasn't there to see him strike her or nothing like that. I literally saw the interview when the man said, you know, and he's in the study. Well, you know, see what happened was she would be walking around and you know, acting all sad, and you know, I talk to her and she won't say anything and anything. So I just, you know, would pop, you know, hit her across the face, and now she's, you know, she's happy now and she's talking and she and she's her attitude changed, you know.
Well, see, that's still wrong.
Of course,
no type of domestic violence. I
think
feel
they
like
was hitting each other.
still should have. He should have walked away. As a man, he should walk away and don't. If you know a woman popping off its mouth or doing whatever, as a man, you should just walk away, because automatically you have the power over her to really knock her out or whatever. So you should just walk away. You know, save yourself in the situation. So I feel like he's wrong for even hitting her altogether.
Absolutely.
It's not okay.
Absolutely. And again, that's why I said the disclaimer. We don't condone any violence here or nothing like that. Having said that, did he beat? Did he do what they showed in the movie, which is a lot worse, right? The whole lot worse. You know what I'm saying? Did he rape her? Did he? You know what I'm saying? Do all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where we're getting at it to know. Put it this way. My parents fought. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time. You know what I'm saying? I know other people who fought at one point in time. But guess what? You know what I'm saying? Some of these people, it was like that person hit that person hit that person back. Or sometimes that person hit that person first and then that person hit him back, and so forth and so on, right? You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, the man is more likely going to be physically stronger. But does that give the woman the right to hit first? You know what I'm saying? Or to do any of these things and so forth and so on? I don't think it does. You know what I mean? And in that case, they're both wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for hitting each other. Yeah, and I've seen them in an interview together where I guess he didn't like something she said, and she touched his hand and moved her arm away.
Yeah, that's the Johnny Carson interview. Yeah, we all seen that interview. Yes.
You know, to me, what she said wasn't that serious, but I don't know how his feelings were at the time. You know, what he was feeling on what she said. I can't say he was wrong, or he shouldn't have did it live on TV. But you know, I can't say how he was feeling with what she said and how he took it, because those are his feelings. But he should have not did that on TV. So it almost make it believable that how he was treating her on the movie was true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes you have to watch with it. Yeah.
And we are I'm sure we all agree that Ike was his worst enemy when it comes to the interviews. Like his interviews didn't help his case. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't at all. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're admitting to hitting her or whatever. Now, regardless of how hard or how soft you hit or whatever, you put your hands on it. You know what I'm saying? You just admitted to that, right? So you already just, you know, you kind of made what they're saying in the movie seem like, oh yeah, well he did everything that they said he did. You know what I'm saying? But that still doesn't mean that's exactly what he did. You feel what I'm saying? I'm saying that he didn't help his case now. You know what I'm saying? He definitely didn't help his case by admitting to it and doing all that. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Now, in the case of that Johnny Carson interview, I don't know what happened before they got to the show. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of argument they might have had or what. You know what I'm saying? Like he just might have been still mad. He like, look, I don't care who we in front of. I ain't feeling you right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to act like this in front of everybody in America. You just called me you know what I mean? A son of a gun or whatever. Anyway, man. And like I said, not condoning what he's doing, just still stating the fact that there is two sides to that story. There's some things that happened between them that we weren't there to see, and as Ray even just pointed out, they might have been hitting each other at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? It's possible there are women who hit also. You know what I'm saying? There are women who they can be violent. You know what I'm saying? It happens. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Was Tina like that? I don't know. Again,
Well, also according to Ike, the story when she did leave the hospital, there was a prostitute lady in New York pulling tricks, acting like she was Tina Turner.
I heard that.
Ike said, Tina got out
and beat her down.
beat the woman up,
Beat her
and
down.
Then went on stage and did a show.
Yep, absolutely. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
So it only makes me question her.
She about
like,
that life.
if she was okay with portraying him to look like that.
Exactly.
That's messed up.
She was, obviously, because she was there on set. You see what I'm saying? And again, now listen, I'm not trying to paint him as the hero, the bad guy, her as the hero, the bad guy, none of that. I'm just saying that these are two human beings who go through things. And the older you get and you have situations with significant others and so forth and so on, put it this way. You get into it with somebody and then you go to your family and you tell them, man, they did this and they did that and da-da-da. Your family automatically is going to hate that person from that point on. Now, what can happen in between then is you and that person can work things out. Now y'all happy again. But guess what? Your family, they still hate them. You know what I'm saying? Because all they know is they hurt their loved one, and that's all it is. They might tolerate that person from that point on, but they will never feel the same about that person. Because of the way you portrayed that person. You know what I'm saying? If you only told them the bad, that's the only thing they're going to think of. And that's kind of what I'm saying about this Ike situation is that we only got the bad. In that movie, it was all the bad, right? But none of the stuff that he did that was actually good. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff there. So again, that's why I say, man, the best thing to do when you watch a biopic and things like that is to make sure you do as much research as possible, man. Because for me, like I said, I just got a different perspective, man. I'm not championing this guy. I'm not saying he did what he did was right. Nothing that. What I'm saying is that I don't know everything that happened that led up to the point of what we saw or what we were showed or so forth and so on. If I went off the movie, I would say she was a perfect angel. She didn't do anything wrong, right? But that might not be the case. And if we're doing that, then now we're wrong for continuing to push that narrative that, Ike is the bad guy, Tina is the hero, and so forth and so on. Maybe Tina did some stuff. If she beat a woman down for using her name, she was wrong for that. She was wrong for that, man. You know what I'm saying? That displays violent tendencies that she has. So like you said, Ray, maybe they were fighting. Maybe Ike initiated it, and then they became, you know what I'm saying, to where they were fighting back and forth. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Wasn't there.
Could have took her anger out on the lady.
Right. Very true. She could have taken the anger out on the lady. That is true. Or she could have just been someone who you don't use her name. You know what I'm saying? A name that he gave her on top of that. Let me make sure I say that too now. The name that he gave her. But yeah. So who knows? You know what I mean? But like I said, man, that's where we are so far in the movie. You know what I'm saying? We're about a third of it, you know what I'm saying, or quarter way into it rather. And we're finding out that everything didn't happen exactly the way it did, right? So we're going down the line a little bit more, and now we're past the hospital scene, right? And you know the part that everybody's waiting for us to get to, right? So, but we're gonna get there. But we just try to make sure we go about this the right way. So now we're past all that, and we're in the studio. Oh man, I tell you, boy. Now we're in the studio, bro. Well, you know what? First of all, because you did tell me that I think the hospital that happened before the pool party, right? So in the pool party, let's get to it. Let's just go ahead and get over this real quick. The first time that we see Ike put his hands on him is at the pool party, right? The girls, they're outside, they're swimming and whatever. And she comes in and she has a problem with, or she has an opinion about the song.
They all just sound the same.
They all sound the same, boy. Woo wee.
Which
Woo wee, bro. And then, and obviously he's high on coke now, right? That's where, he's sniffling and all the type of stuff, and his eyes all buck wide. And what you say now? And it's funny because as soon as he said
She might have been on it too.
she might have been on it too, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, come on now, but
We don't know. Not to cut you off.
but
I'm
SC,
sorry.
I'm saying though, SC, this is sweet anime. This is little Annie though.
This how things happen in the industry. Like, and I'm glad you starting to, like, I don't condone the violence and all that, but I'm glad that you kind of got a different perspective and you kind of look at it from a different way from that movie, and you doing your research on the interviews and stuff. Because a lot of stuff like this happen in the industry, and everybody got their outlook and their opinions, but they don't know what's really going on. And some of these artists, as famous as they are, they be going through stuff like you said. Like they go through stuff just like the regular person that you might see on the street. That's going through it, that's high on something, that's maybe drinking or something, So I just wanted to throw that in there, man. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, she said she never drank or did drugs per her book, huh? Well,
we don't know.
That was it was right. That's her perspective of things, right? That's her opinion. That's her account of how her life went. Cool. There may be somebody to dispute that, but I don't know. I will say, while we are on that subject, that doing this research, you find out that Ike says that he wasn't doing cocaine either until he went to Vegas and he did a show with, he said there was a famous comedian and a famous artist that offered him cocaine, and he did not take it that night. He took it with him, but he didn't use it that night. And one night in the studio, trying to get some songs out and whatever, tired as he was, not sleeping for 3 days and so forth and so on, he decided to go ahead and give it a try. And from that point on, he was hooked. And his manager at the time asked him, who was this? He said Red Fox and Elvis.
I can believe it. Red Fox was about that life.
He was all about that life, dog. And Elvis was too. You know what I'm saying? Elvis was too. Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, man. So he, that's what, and that is how it starts most of the times, right? You know what I'm saying? People, it's offered, especially in that industry. You know what I'm saying? These things are offered, right?
Well, he had that day at that studio.
Yep, he had that day at the studio, man. And yeah. So anyway, but of course, like I said, according to her, she never did it. But that's debatable. We don't know. But yeah, man. So he's she's telling him, Ike, hey man, starting to sound a little same, the songs. Now what you say now? And as soon as she said it too, it's funny. The look is like she knew something was coming because now she's trying to fix it up. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, say what you said, And of course, he take that one little he wipe his nose.
Doing that for the rest of the movie.
Boy. And then here comes the backhand, right? Here comes the backhand, man. And then from that on, boy, it's on and popping now, right? You know what I'm saying? So he's on her, he's dragging her through the house. Then it's so sad, of course, to see, you know what I mean? Because the kids come out and they looking, you know what I'm saying, and everything. And she, while getting dragged and beat, she's focused on the kids. Y'all go back in the house, go back in the room, and mom and dad are just playing or something, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then he takes us to the room, man, and that's it, man. He's on it now, you know what I'm saying? And of course, the girls out there, they're listening to it and so forth and so on. And man, it tripped me out though, when he later on that night, of course, they show him bringing a gift, right? You know what I'm saying? And she look at the gift, kind of throwing it to the side or whatever. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that was the first time we saw it, and right then we're like, ooh, boy, it's gonna be rough. But from that point on, of course, we go to I think it's the studio. Yeah, because I don't think this is I don't think we've gotten to the part where we're in the restaurant yet. With the cake. I don't think we've gotten there yet. But I think the studio thing happened first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she hadn't signed a deal with Spectrum yet.
No. Man, I tell you, that was probably the roughest one for me. You know what I'm saying? That was the roughest one. That was the one where it's like, dude, you got to rape your wife. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, if this did not happen. For them to paint it that way, man, that's bro. I don't know how I feel about that, man. Because it's one thing, you doing all this other stuff, and then raping your own wife, you know what I'm saying, in the studio booth and everything. Like, ooh boy. I would hope that man, didn't do anything like that. I mean, he claims he didn't.
Yeah, that's what he claimed.
Because he admitted to a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. I was actually shocked. I mean, he admitted to quite a few things, but he said that one was entirely false. And I don't know, according to the book, he wanted to have sex after a fight, But is that rape? Is it rape? I mean, if you want to have sex after y'all been fighting, unless she's saying no, I don't want to have sex, and he forced himself on her, that's rape, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky because I'm sure all couples out there can back me up on this. Is that a lot of times some of the best sex has been after
a fight,
right? What do they call it? It even has a name. What do they call it?
Makeup sex.
They call it makeup sex. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had makeup sex, and her perspective of it was rape. So who knows? Or maybe he actually forced himself, and we just got in a fight. I don't want you. I don't. You know what I mean? You get in a fight with somebody, you don't want to. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You kind of very upset at that person right there. You ain't thinking about I want to have sex with him. You know what I'm saying? So if he forced himself on her, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then that absolutely was rape. She said no. He said yes. That's rape all day. But it's a rough scene, man. It's a rough scene, and I think Lawrence Fishburne.
I had to fast forward every time.
You had to get past it. Yeah, it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't. I don't like no type of torture or anything like that.
Yeah, it's real rough.
Something awful to see.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, man, it's what Lawrence Fishburne was saying about that scene was that he told the director, "Look, we're only going to do this 4 times. You know what I'm saying? We get 4 takes on this one. So we got to get through it because." And I feel him though. That's a very emotional thing to go through. You know what I mean? To get yourself in that mindset of something like that. Just as we're talking about it, how it's making us feel, you have to fast forward through it, right? So that's a very emotional scene. That's something you don't want to take home with you. You know what I'm saying? After you've done your job and they cut. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. You don't want to take that feeling home with you. So
because a lot of celebrities need therapy after things that certain acting roles that they take on.
Absolutely,
they need therapy.
Absolutely,
let's see that.
Yeah, I think he even mentioned that too. That he had a counselor during that time. Yeah, because Lawrence Fishburne, he came very real with it in that interview. As a matter of fact, he even admitted to in his first marriage he was abusive to his wife, and he had to get counseling to find out why he felt the need to be abusive and so forth and so on. So he, I think he still had that same counselor during this movie, to help him kind of get through scenes like that. But very rough scene, man. Extremely rough, man. Very rough. Anyway, yeah, I want to hurry and get past that too. You know what I'm saying? So I won't dwell on that too much. But we get past that, and again, just yet another thing to he's a monster. He's an absolute monster, especially if that actually happened. So now we're past that. Now we know who Ike is. We know now that Ike does not play. Whether it's the band members, whether his wife, whatever, he just don't play that. So now we fast forward to I think everyone's most memorable scene, the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, Anime and Jackie, the fictional best friend, right? Come into the to the restaurant. Him and his imaginary friend, Frost. They're there, and come in, and you can already kind of tell that she's tired. You know what I'm saying? She just want to come in and chill and everything like that. And I can't even remember what kind of started off. They were celebrating for something, right? Did they
get ready to go back on the road?
Get back and go on the road. But I thought they accomplished something.
Yeah, tour with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. So, they're there, and you know what I'm saying? And Ike is like, okay, we need to celebrate this, so hey, y'all bring some cake, and I mean, you know, he wants to eat some cake with his wife, right? Oh my God. You know, it's funny about this scene, man. I had to look at this too because I was talking to our producer Timmy, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to know like how what everyone says, which is what? Do you know the line? Do you know the line that everybody says though?
Eat the cake.
Anime.
Anime.
Right. Okay. Well, if you look at the movie, man, the line actually is like he says, you know, anime eat the cake or something right there, you know, have some cake or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the line that people mostly quote though is what Frost is saying. You know what I'm saying? Anime just eat the cake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But actually, he's saying anime just have some cake. Is that what it is, Timmy? If I'm not mistaken, I think is anime just have some cake, please.
Mm-hmm.
Like he don't even say eat the cake. I think he says anime just have some cake, please. Please just have some cake or something like that. Yes, right. Yep. Please have some cake. Yep. Exactly what he says. Please have some cake. Because he's just like, look, I don't even want to see this no more. So it's just funny how over the years though it's translated into anime. Please just eat the cake. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of funny how we do that. But the actual line is please have some cake, anime. And of course, you know, we see what he does. He grabs the cake, smashes it in her face, and all that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, her friend jumps up and he backhands her. You know what I'm saying? And if you actually see it again, like she rolls over, like he hits her so hard that she literally does a backflip on the ground. You know, and it's like, good grief, man.
And none of this never happened.
Right, even though it never happened, because she's fictional. But this fictional character, you know, is there. You can see why she's there. She's there as the strength. You know what I'm saying? You know, to show anime this is where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Because she's like, look, you ain't got one time to hit me. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's it. You know, and of course, and I think Keke Palmer actually, you know, Keke Palmer. You know, so she does a great impression of Angela Bassett during this scene. Actually, when she's just like, you know, it's okay. You know, she's like, it ain't okay to let him hit you. You know, all that stuff. So. You know, let them just beat up on you. But that is probably one of the most memorable scenes in this whole movie, man. I mean, this is one of the most quoted scenes. Like I said, Keke Palmer does an impression of Angela, you know what I'm saying, in that moment, you know, with cake all over her face and everything. But man, you know, and it's kind of comical, you know what I'm saying, but it's nothing to laugh at, you know, to watch somebody get abused and everything like that. But that's the part where even Beyonce and Jay-Z brings it back in the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, anime just eat the cake.
People was having a problem with that too. They brought that back up about them quoting that in their song.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they had they was just mad about that. So, I don't think it went too far though.
Yeah, I don't think it did either, man. I mean, they're quoting the movie. You know what I'm saying? And as we're showing, some of this stuff didn't even happen in the movie. I really would need to know that cake scene happened. Maybe it did, but did it happen exactly like that? Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't happen like that because if it did in a public place, Ike would have been in jail.
Yeah, man. You know, it's funny though, man. I remember me and my dad would talk about certain stuff, and you know, even when it came down to child support and this, whatever. Things were different back then. Things were different. You know, I think the internet changed everything.
Yep.
Because there were certain things that you would hear about, but nothing was done about because it wasn't broadcast as much. You know what I'm saying? Especially with our people, right? You know, some of the things with our people wasn't broadcast as much, right? Unless it was on our radio stations and so forth and so on. Whereas now, whatever you do right now, instantaneously is news. You know, you can't get away with nothing, right? You can't even say anything now. So it's possible. It's possible, Ray, that it could have happened. You know what I'm saying? And didn't get the attention that it could have or should have or whatever. I mean, obviously she was getting abused for a while. And
we're talking about Tina Turner now, you know, and this one, she had just made a little solo song with Phil Spectrum, so the
she was
world
out
know
there.
about her, you know.
The world knew of her. The world knew of her. Did the world get the news as fast as they get it now, though?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
But that diner was packed.
That diner was packed, according to the movie. According to that movie, that diner was packed. And guess what? It had white people in there. We know white people don't play all that, right? They will tell it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard, man. It's hard. You know, not knowing exactly what happened, and if you, like I said, we going off the movie. But if we're going off the movie, absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, he should have been in jail. You would think he would have been. Um, that's another thing to say about celebrities and artists too, though. They tend to get away with a little bit more stuff than the average person can get away with, though, right? I mean, you would agree with that, right? You know, money can kind of get you out of some things, right? You know, your fame
Right.
can kind of get you out of some things. You can afford lawyers that the average person can't. So who knows? Who knows? But he didn't go to jail for any of this stuff, right? From what you saw.
No, from what I saw, no.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another hard scene, buddy. Another hard scene. But yeah, man. So now we well off into it. I mean, he's beating her. You know what I'm saying? He's doing things in public. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just talking about in the studio now more. Now he's doing it in public in front of people. I would like to know. I would like to do a little bit more research on that to find out if that actually happened. If there were some accounts of witnesses. You know what I'm saying? Bystanders that saw. Oh yeah, no, he took that cake, smashed it in the face, smacked the other girl around, he smacked the imaginary friend around. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff, right? So yeah, man. I mean, you know, so again, what we just trying to say, we don't know, we wasn't there, and this is we have to do our due diligence to do a little bit more research and whatever before we just absolutely say this man did everything we saw in that movie. So. But of course, like I said, we wanted to get to the infamous scene. You know what I'm saying? It's the favorite scene of most people. You know, the comedic scene. Like I said, they made it part comedy with some of that. You know, but there you have it. You know, there's the anime eat the cake. That's why you know if y'all heard it in the Jay-Z and the Beyonce songs, if you heard the references, that's where it came from. So now we well off into it now. We know who Ike is, you know, presented as, you know what I'm saying, what kind of person he is. He's horrible, right? And according to this movie. So now it's about you know, that the imaginary friend has left and, you know, Tina, she's there, and man, you know, he's beating her so bad, man, that she's starting to take pills, and you know what I'm saying, what kind of pills did she take? What kind of pills? But she was trying to overdose on pills, man, and you know she's putting her makeup on all crazy and stuff in the mirror, and you know what I'm saying, and whatever. And I think she ends up in the hospital and so forth and so on. And I got to tell you, man, this is, I mean, like I said, nothing's funny about doing anything like this. It's not. But I got to tell you, man, this right here, at this point here, I'm saying to myself, if this man is actually like this, he is an absolute nut. Because, because at this point in time, she done took these pills. Now she's in the hospital, and he don't know if she's gonna die or whatever, because whatever. But he goes to the hospital with her in the ambulance. Man, I tell you what, boy, I don't know if this is crazy or if this is just pimping at its best, right? He leans over to her. Come on, Ray. I'm gonna let you say it, bro. What are you telling, man?
Don't you down me, anime. If you down me, I'll kill you myself.
Jesus. Man, you feel what I'm saying? Right. At that moment, you're sitting there saying, this dude is crazy. Like, he is absolutely lost it. He snapped. To even fix your mouth to say something like that, right? If you die, I'm going to kill you. Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's funny to imagine someone being that crazy that they could even put some words together like that. Bro, do you know how afraid that you have to be of somebody to be about to die? And to hear that, that's your last thing you almost hearing, and saying, you know what, I can't die, because he's crazy enough to come into the afterlife, you know what I'm saying, and actually kill me again. Like, you have got to be so psychologically ruined at that point that you're thinking, this person could probably do it, you know. So I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I would hope that, again, like I said, that, you know, he wouldn't say something like that. He didn't say something like that, and they just sensationalize that for the movie, because, of course, for the movie, you know what I'm saying, it works. It absolutely works. I mean, he's the monster. He's done all this stuff leading up to this, so why wouldn't he say something as crazy as, if you die, I'm gonna kill you, right? You know, so but yeah, at that part, dude, I'm just like, man, this boy done went over the line, you know. But they say in the book that it's true that she did take the pills. But of course, did he say that? That's part we don't know, but we do know.
She wouldn't even understand it in any way.
If he said that, right? Yeah, you wouldn't be that coherent to hear something like that. But yeah,
I was
man.
gonna say that too.
Right, right. But again, for the movie, it absolutely works. Yeah. It absolutely works to paint him as the absolute monster that you know what I'm saying, the boogeyman, So anyway, man, we all rooting for anime by this time. Anime, you got to get up out of there. You have got to get up out of there, man. Something got to give, And it never got any better after that. You know what I'm saying? After that point, it's just no other scenes were even remotely close to being good, I think we might even skipped over the one part where he he beat her or did something or whatever, and then she had to sing the song, "Fool in Love" or something. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, she's not singing. He leans over and kisses her, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Which was basically the kiss of death. Like, if you don't sing, you know what's going to happen after this, right? But yeah, so after that, man, after that whole, her trying to her taking the pills and, whatever suicide attempt, it didn't get any better. Now, X, we didn't get a chance to touch on anything with you yet before we get to the end of this movie, man. What are you feeling, man? Like I said, you had a different perspective on this. This came out, I want to say after you were born. You know what I'm saying? And you go back to a movie that was released in 1993 about this type of violence and so forth and so on. How does that translate over to you at now, 2023, 30 something years, 40 years later? What does that make you, what do you think about it, man? When you see something like this, especially in the environment that we are in now?
Well, I do want to say it was 2 years before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And so, growing up, you know, our community has its traumas, it has its issues, it has its plagues and problems. And this movie just highlights that. These are two very great and talented individuals with very troubled pasts who didn't know how to handle their traumas growing up, which seems to be a theme in our community.
Sure.
Like we run into a lot of situations where, they were brought up a certain way to handle things a certain way. They seen things, so they incorporate it into their lives. Growing up, it's within the 30 years of this film's theatrical release, it's crazy to me that one, the most popular saying isn't even like it isn't even real. Like it wasn't even said, you know what I'm saying, to question whether or not it actually happened or not. But also to highlight the fact that, this is a part of our this blemish was a part of so much of her career. It feels like too, because it seems like obviously you can't mention Ike without saying Tina, and vice versa. You can't mention Tina without saying Ike because they played such a pivotal role in each other's lives.
Absolutely.
But to see that, dude, because they didn't know how to handle their traumas, that broken people met broken people, and then broken people created magic, but broken people with all that darkness that they had inside of them let that darkness dominate what was such a pivotal time for us as far as a culture. Like that's 50s rock and roll we're talking about. She's a 2-time rock and roll Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? She's a staple of our community. But to have such the checker past that she had, man, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And for him to have been such a great A&R, such a great producer, such a great businessman in times where, they weren't looking at us like we know business.
Right.
They weren't looking at us like, they were looking at us like lesser still.
Yeah, just
So
get
for
out,
him
get
to
out there and
be able to
perform.
navigate,
Yeah,
shuck and jive,
yeah, just shuck and
dance,
jive.
sing them little tunes for us, But for him to be able to pivot, navigate, and produce the way he did, and then found anime, and then just it's a beautiful story about them coming together. It's just filled with such tragedy, and
Yeah.
it's crazy, man, because you always think about the what ifs. What if, they had the counseling and the therapy, and what if they were able to heal those traumas, if not together, before they got together? Do you think the universe will still have a line for them to meet and create the magic that they did? And it's a lot of what ifs, man. This film, like I said, it's stapled for three reasons. Eat the cake anime,
Mm-hmm.
even though now it might not even be real.
Mm-hmm.
The abuse culture that tends to follow our culture, and you know, beautiful, beautiful music that transition time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's crazy, man. I'm sitting back and I'm listening to y'all. Not only and y'all broke it down in a fantastic way, like sports analysts. Y'all broke that down perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had the scenes and then doing the research to back up the claims, and well, this might not have actually happened. This is what actually happened. This was factual. This was that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting back and I'm like, wow. If no one ever took the time to do the research, I don't think they would have ever heard that perspective,
Right.
because this movie does a great job, as a movie is supposed to do, of telling the story how they wanted it told.
Right.
And like y'all been saying, there's another side of the story that deserves light, that has to be told too. Not condoning anything that happened, because abuse was at the epicenter of this beautiful yet tragic story.
Right.
But it's good that that side is still kind of highlighted. What it did was humanize Ike a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
instead of painting him to be that monster. I think that was a different perspective that maybe not a lot of people have taken the time to really, indulge in or even think about.
Right. Because he has a family. He has a family. He's got daughters. He's got granddaughters. You know what I'm saying? Which they don't even talk about in the movie. They don't even show the daughters in the movie at all. And it's funny, but when we're talking about that, I'm glad you just made me remember that, because if he had daughters, then they have to show how he treats women. You know what I'm saying? And if he had showed his daughters, then he would have had to been really mistreating them as well, right? To really make him look like that monster. So let's just not even put the daughters in there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just make all his interactions with women horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You don't think about it like that, but no, you're absolutely right, man. Beautiful story, but it's tainted with all of that abuse and all of that stuff, man. So yeah, very interesting take on that, bro. Very interesting take.
Appreciate it. I appreciate y'all breaking it down, man. Y'all broke it down, like I said, in an analyst type of way, to where it makes you think about other perspectives versus just what this movie gave us to
Sure.
think about. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Stuff that honestly, like I said, if you don't know the research, you didn't do it, go back, listen, look at the other sides of the opinion, and then it makes you revisit the movie and look at it differently.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. They definitely mentioned the boys, you know what I'm saying, a lot. I think even in the book, but not the girls. As I was doing my research and they brought up the daughters, I was like, wow, didn't even know he had them. And if you listen to the way the daughters and the granddaughters speak about him, they speak about him in a very endearing way. They even mentioned that after he did this 10 years in jail and he got clean, he came out and he was just a better person. You know. Yeah. So anyway, man, yeah, a lot of ways to look at this. And I think for us, we just wanted to make sure that people are looking at it from all angles, not just one. If you're looking at it just one, yes, we all got the same opinion. Ike is horrible. You know what I mean? Probably why when he passed in 2007, nobody really heard about it. You know what I mean? It was just kind of swept under the rug. Like, well, the monster's dead now, so keep it moving.
Yeah.
But the perspectives that we have brought up, and even what you're saying right now, should hopefully have people looking at even mental health. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When it comes to like you said, the troubled past that they both had. They both had troubled past. She went through something.
Yep.
He went through something. They came together, and they made something beautiful out of all of that stuff they went through. You know,
Yep.
with the music, but they couldn't make it because of those troubled past. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have anything good to base it off of. They had no examples of
No leg to stand on.
absolutely
Yeah.
of how you're supposed to
No
treat
real
someone.
solid foundation.
Right. So yeah, man, it's rough. You know what I mean? It's rough, but definitely something to really explore. So we hoping you listeners out there will at least entertain what you're hearing right now and say, well, let me look into Ike just a little bit more, because I promise you, if you did look at some of the interviews, if you did look into the documentary, Ike Continua documentary, they actually covered, even though it's called Ike Continua documentary, they cover most of Ike stuff, and I was really happy that they did that. You know what I'm saying? And not just another documentary throwing him under the bus saying, he's an abuser, he was a coke addict. Yeah, that's just what he was. They really make you look at Ike in a different light, man. Really do. I was actually pleased with that documentary. I think it was unsung, as a matter of fact. Anyway, all right, man. So we appreciate your take on that, bro. Because we're right here at the end now. Now we're here. We're at that another infamous scene when they're in Dallas, the limousine scene, man. Boy, man, this is it. This is the part right here where everything changes, though. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time for triumph. Now in between this time, she has met back up with her imaginary friend Jackie, and then Jackie has introduced her to Buddhism, and now she has something. Of course, she went from Baptist to now Buddhism. And this is where she turns to now to say, she's doing the chants and everything. This is, in the movie they're showing that this is helping her get through these times, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Now I am curious. I'm curious to know why, if her background was, back Baptist and so forth and so on. Why? Did she ever pray about it? You know what I'm saying? Did she ever? You know what I mean? Yeah, ask God to. You know what I'm saying? Do something with Ike. You know what I mean? Get this fool. Whatever.
But I do.
I
do feel. I'm sorry to cut you off, Price.
Go ahead.
But I do want to harbor back to what SC said earlier. In the industry, sometimes there's very demonic ways to cope. There's very different outside ways to cope and handle things that's more promoted within the industry.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I know we referenced earlier that in her book, she mentions she never drank or did drugs, but, one can't help but wonder how else, like you said, if she was a Baptist Christian, if you weren't turning to God in that hour,
what were you
how were
turning
you
to?
coping with this? Yes, how were you coping with this situation?
Absolutely.
Before you just happen to stumble, because if the friend is fake, then how did you stumble upon Buddhism to begin with?
Right.
What door led you to that? Because if that was what helped you cope through these situations, then obviously, it was God's will, and everything happened for a reason. They gave her a brighter outlook to help cope with this, but the in between is still kind of gray and in a gray space.
Now, I will say to what you're saying, what they say is that it wasn't this imaginary friend. It was actually one of Ike's friends. You know what I'm saying? A female friend of his that introduced her to Buddhism. Right. Ike's friend now, right? Okay?
Right.
Ike's friend, right? All right. So, Valerie Bishop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Listen. I'm not here to play religion wars or whatever. I have my beliefs. And other people have theirs. So I'm not here to play religion wars. You know what I'm saying? To say what you do, what you don't do, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I believe in what I believe in, and that's just where it is. And that's what I stand on. But I will say this: if she found something to cope that help her cope, or to believe in, you're believing in something greater than yourself, which is my thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't just think that you know what I mean. nothing's greater than you. Then I'm happy for her in that sense. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here like, well, she didn't go back to being a Baptist or this or whatever, so I'm mad at her or whatever. Look, if that's what if she found and so forth and so on,
You
then
found peace.
Then more power to you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I don't want to play the religion wars for all my Christian listeners out there. You know what I'm saying? What I want to do is stay positive and say that she found some peace, like you said, X. And if she found that through there, then hey, good for you. You know what I mean? But this is what happened in the movie. The friend introduces her to it. She's now using the chants, and this is how she's doing it. She's tapping on the type of the bowl, and everybody's looking at her like she's crazy, and so forth and so on. But she's at peace now, and she's in a better place, right? Now she now has this strength because of this friend, and what I'm saying, her chants and all the stuff here. Now she has the strength. Now she's at the point where she ain't taking it no more. And now we at the limousine scene, and man, oh man, this is the last time that Ike is going to put his hands on her. Ain't it?
She gave it to him.
She gave it to him big time. Took the shoe off and everything too. So that's just a trip to when they go into that hotel. Boy, they looking boy.
I was gonna say, are you referencing the scene where Ike says, I done changed, Tina. I done changed. Now I don't do that no more.
Not yet.
I don't do that no more.
Not yet. We ain't got there yet. We had to see where they limping into the hotel, and she look, both of them.
Oh yeah, they check in. Yeah, after the fight in the car.
After the fight in the car. And Ike goes, and you go and clean, get yourself cleaned up now. All right, Ike, whatever you say, baby. He's laid down, and she like, I'm out of here, partner.
Yo,
I'm gone. She runs to the next hotel. And it's a good scene, man, because everybody's like, man, Miss Turner, she ain't got no money, right? They say she left with 36 cents in her pocket.
That's crazy.
Yep.
No money on her, you know what I'm saying? And which, of course, again, Ray sounds a lot better, right? But of course, if she had 36 cents or whatever, she doesn't matter. She's Tina Turner. Her name is her money. You know what I'm saying? The white guys like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, Miss Turner, don't even worry about it. We got you, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was just a really good scene, period, though. You know what I'm saying? I really did. I thought it was a really powerful scene, that she's become this person where people see her and they see that she's being abused, regardless of whatever her name is, like, you come on in here, we got you.
Still nobody called the police.
Ain't that funny? But that's what I say, though, bro. Those times were different, though. You know what I'm saying? Those times really were different.
I mean, that was what 70s right there, then, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought in that point.
I don't know.
80s?
Nah, it wasn't 80s yet, for sure.
That'd be real
70s.
close to it.
It's close. I would go more 70s. I would go more 70s.
Maybe late 70s.
Yeah. But yeah. So now she's out, you know what I'm saying? She's out of there, man. So she's done. You know what I'm saying? She's done with Ike. She met that one guy, the English guy, and 1976.
76.
I was born. She was getting up out of there. Yeah, man. So
But I want to say he got so immune to them fighting that it was nothing for him, but she was feeling pain behind it and she wanted out, so he just didn't care.
Yeah, according to that movie.
Like he
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, according to that movie, it's nothing for him. Yeah, he just go like, and that's the funny part about it. Like, you just did all of this. You feel comfortable going to sleep around somebody like that? You know what I mean? You don't abuse them, and you just gonna doze off, take a nap, and not worry about them stabbing you in your heart or something? Like, come on.
Point, they had been together 20 years.
20 years, yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That's crazy. Yeah, man. So she's out of there now, and she, like I said, she met the guy, the English guy, and he's like, "Look, hey, we got another path for you." So now she's into the rock and roll now. You know what I'm saying? And doing her thing, man. She's, you know what I'm saying? She kept her. Oh, wait. Can't forget the courtroom. Cannot forget the courtroom. They even showed the part where I guess the Ike Jr. or something. He's sitting on her side, and he goes and sit over with his dad and all that, and. He's in there with his sunglasses. They tell him, you ain't got to tell me but one. And she was like, I don't want nothing, no money, no nothing. Just give me my name. He's like, you have all this stuff, but you can't have that name. my name come with me, but it's my daddy blood on that.
That's my daddy blood up in there.
Oh my God, man. Yeah,
You
yeah.
realize you're gonna leave this courtroom with absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
You're right. Nothing. But
Nothing
my
but a
name.
name. And that's something. Yeah, yeah. He had the rights to the name. He had the rights to the name. But the judge saw fit to let her have the name.
She wasn't getting nothing else. She had to get the name.
Had to get the name.
It's only fair.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. She, she did do a lot of work under that
You
name.
knew that name was money.
And that name was money. Yep. She would get that money back. So it was a smart move on her part, especially when dealing with the judge and everything. He's like, look, come on, what else you want? You know what I'm saying? You're getting everything. Give it a name. Good grief.
He kept the royalties and everything.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, man. So now fast forward to the part that you're talking about, X. She's in that. Now, this is another thing that they say happened and didn't happen, whatever. In the movie, they had her performing her first time at the Ritz. Well, that wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? She didn't perform What's Love Got to Do with It at the Ritz. You know what I'm saying? According to the research that we did. Right. So she did perform at the Ritz, but she didn't perform that song there. So, but anyway, and they also, we also looked into it and debunked the fact that he had a gun there at her performance.
Not true.
Not true at all. Now, she did say that he did threaten her. Go ahead.
He wasn't gonna come in the dressing room and kill her, huh?
No.
That was a very strong scene. She stood up for herself. Told Ike how it is.
Yep.
And left him there in the dressing room with his thoughts.
Yep.
Then he slowly revealed that he did have a gun in that moment.
Now this
in the movie, according to
the movie. Now this is after though. This is after the car scene. You know what I'm saying? Like she's coming out of practice one day and he sees her and he's like, "Hey, Anna, I just want to talk to you for a minute now. You know what I'm saying? Just talk to you for a minute. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I done changed.
I done changed. Right. That's your part. now I done left all that stuff alone. Now I'm clean now. Not stop all this playing. Come on back home now.
Hey, I don't do none of that stuff no more, man. You come on home.
Come on now. Come on home, Anna Mae. But the part that trips me out is the fact that he asked her to get in the car and she's like fine, but he's like trying to close that door. She's like, nope. Boy, I need an escape. You know what I'm saying? Don't close this door. But he get in there and he's talking about all the stuff to her, man, and talking about what she owe him, and she wouldn't be nothing without him. I made you. And boy, what did she do? She get out there and slam that door to that car and that window. Now look what you done now. you done messed up my nice vehicle. You know what I'm saying? You got that little stutter. And then yes, after that, that's when we see her. See him again, and now he has the gun. And all that stuff. But of course, said that never happened. She said he did threaten her, but he would always send his goons. You know what I'm saying, and not physically be there himself. You know what I mean? So again, man, it just looks better in a movie when you have the villain, the big bad guy. He shows up with the gun, he's threatening her, he's gonna kill her and all that, and she's like, you know what, do what you gonna do, Ike. You gonna kill me? You do what you gotta do. But I got all these fans out there waiting for me. Not Ike and Tina, just Tina. But yeah, she gets out and do her thing, man, and there you go. And then of course they transition over to the real Tina doing her thing, and I thought that was pretty cool. The one thing you got to say about Angela Bassett, though, boy, good grief, man, that woman was toned up.
She was
ripped, was she, bro? Woo-hoo-hoo-wee. Ripped, dog. Yeah. So, her arms, man, just like the biceps, everything. You could just see you know what I mean? Oh my God, dog! Like she definitely worked out for that one. And I will say, especially with what happened as of recently, you know what I'm saying, early in the year that we covered, that is the movie she should have won that Oscar for.
I think they both should have won one.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. I don't even know who she lost to at that moment, but she should have won that. The same way Denzel should have won for Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? They absolutely became these people. And,
Oh, yeah. The Malcolm X movie was pretty good.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Those are ones I feel like she was robbed. I feel like she was robbed of that one way more than this other one with, this supporting actress thing. So Holly Hunter. And I don't even know what movie Holly Hunter won that Oscar for, but it wasn't You know what I'm saying? I just don't even think it could compare to the performance that Angela did in this movie, man. And like you said, her and Lawrence, and what it took out of them to embody these people. Holly Hunter won for the piano. Don't even remember the movie.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Don't even remember the movie. But anyway, yeah, man. So that's it, man. I mean, you know, if we hadn't debunked some of that stuff, you could have one opinion about the movie and give it a score. But when you debunk that stuff,
you gotta have two of them.
You gotta have.
Yeah, that's where I was going, man.
So I think it's about that time. I think it's about that time we get a couple of numbers, you know what I'm saying, and let everyone know how we feel about it. You know, hopefully you guys stayed with us and tuned in on this one here. And you, if you felt one way, maybe hopefully you have a different perspective, or if it's still the same, you know, you are well within your rights. But we only ask that you at least do your due diligence, man. Look into it a little bit. Look into Ike's, you know, look into Tina's, you know, interviews, and gather what you feel like actually happened or could have happened in that moment. So, but let's go ahead and go around the table real quick, you know what I'm saying, you know, and see what it do, you know what I mean? But X, since you was pretty much the last one to speak, man, what you feel about the movie, bro, you know?
7.5.
7.5? Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
And the reason why, to give it some credence is because for the time, obviously it touched on a very sensitive subject. Obviously for factual purposes, I'm docking because obviously it's gaslit. It's which is a new term nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's more or less of a gaslighting film.
Yep. It's
kind of one-sided.
It's to drive a
narrative.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's to drive a narrative. But for the time, it did touch on very sensitive subjects, and as far as a biopic goes, and like setting a precedent for my whole generation of what we think about Ike and Tina.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's crazy that that was our impression of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like for people who grew up, for people who were around for her era, obviously they got to live and breathe her as she was and as he was, as great as they were. But to shape our generation about abuse and stuff like that and highlight that kind of stuff, obviously he still give the film its props for that. But taking out the facts, you know, and fluffing some stuff up and fluffing it up, that's too much fluff for me. So
Quite
7.5.
There you go.
Very fluffy.
Very fluffy indeed. Cool beans. Yeah, and yeah, no, I agree with all your points. Absolutely. CBR.
All right, so before I done my research, I'll have to rate the movie a solid 9. You know, it's a good movie, good watch, good story to tell. But again, the story was one-sided, so get to my other review.
Yep. The real review.
the real one. So I done some research, you know, and looked into the Ike character, you know. Not condoning what he done or anything, but, you know, he had a side of the story to tell, too, so you didn't get much from him, but a monster.
Yeah.
According to the movie, but so after seeing this story and looking into him, I'm gonna have to rate the movie low 6.
Okay. All right. Okay then. There it is. We getting to it now, boy. Ooh, we diving up into it now. Break, get way. What it do, Brace?
Oh, yeah. That's good. If I'm just gonna rate the movie itself before I knew all these facts, I'm gonna give it a 10 because it had me like I was into the movie, you know, and she hit every emotional scene. Everything was pretty good, so I'm gonna rate it as a 10 due to her acting. Because everybody else did good also.
Sure,
but
no doubt.
She made me believe, so I have to vote, go off of that. So I'm gonna give her a 10. The movie a 10.
Nice. Oh, there it is. The coveted hand clap.
Yeah.
Bree raised it a 10. All right. I think this is your first 10. Is it your first 10? Oh, it's almost.
Nah,
No,
Little
you know,
Mer
I've been
Little
rating
Mermaid
tens
was a
all.
10
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
Little Mermaid. That's
Little
right.
Mermaid for her was a
Okay,
10. So I think
yeah, that's right. We see where you live now.
maybe
Okay.
maybe second, possibly third.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly third, possibly.
Absolutely, you're right. She did. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
SC.
Man, I don't even know. That was a lot.
You know.
That was a lot.
8.8.
No. As a kid seeing it, I kind of knew what was going on, but as me and Price discussed off of the podcast, you know, as you get older, you start having different perspective on things. So, you know, as a kid, I loved it because of the music. I loved the adventure and the journey. I kind of grew up in the church, in the Baptist church. So I enjoyed seeing a little girl. When it first came on, I enjoyed seeing somebody my age, you know, young in the choir singing, making an impression. So that really stood out to me. Going through it and seeing everything that was going on with Ike, like, as a young kid, I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. Like everybody that was young that seen it, we was like, man, that's crazy. Like, but back then, if you don't know, it's like you just it's entertainment, you know. You don't really know what's going on. You just watching whatever they put in front of you. So, Ike definitely talented, you know, not to take away from his musical talent. I don't condone the violence and all that, and I'm gonna keep it short and simple. So we gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Shout out to Ike for that talent. You know, great producer. You know, he did put Tina Turner where she was at. You know,
absolutely.
He did invest that time and that production and all of that into her as an artist to make her the superstar that she eventually became. Tina Turner is a great talent, you know. So I'm glad that she was able to take that information and that education from Ike to develop what she had, and now I think she's in the rock and roll Hall of Fame or something like that. Yeah. So, you know, she's a great. Back to the movie, wrapping it up. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
And I guess that's it. Unless you want to know something else.
No, that's good, man. I mean, this is you know, our points are not to take away from the movie and how anybody feels about the movie, because as X pointed out, the movie had an agenda. You know what I'm saying? The movie had an agenda. It saw that agenda all the way through. It hit all the points that it should have hit to reach that agenda. So as far as a movie going, if you just want to sit down and watch a movie, it's a good movie. You can't take away from it. It is a good movie. You know what I mean? If you decide to do what Ray and I did and say, well, you know what? Let me pick this movie apart and see what's actually true and what's not. It's going to give you a different perspective of this movie. It's going to make you rate this movie just a little bit differently, because you're saying, okay, it's good, but they fed me some stuff that wasn't true, and it made me feel some kind of way, and it made me create an opinion about someone that probably wasn't as deserving of that opinion as he was. You see what I'm saying? You know, and that's where it is for me. I think Ray, you and I are on the same page with. I looked at this movie at one point of my life, and was like, man, there's a movie, and eat cake anime, and so, you know, I'm right along with everybody else, man. You know what I'm saying? Great movie. Like said, Bree, the movie is a masterpiece to me. It's a masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? It hits all the beats, all the emotional stuff. It gives you the music. It makes you dance. It gives you all of that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Triumph, you know, tragedy, all that stuff, man. It hits on every beat that it should to me. And that is what will have me giving it a high score. What will have me taken away from that score is me saying I'm older now, though. I've been through some things. You know what I'm saying? I've had relationships. I've experienced things. You know what I'm saying? I've had people say some things about me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't true. You know what I'm saying? It was just their opinion of it, their account of the things that happened, and so forth and so on. And you know, and so yeah, I have to have a little bit of understanding. I can say sympathy or empathy for I have to have a little understanding when it comes to people having a certain opinion about you and they pushing that narrative to other people before they even get a chance to know you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I will take my score down to 8. Actually, you know what I'm saying? I'll take it to 8 because I have to take away from, for all the things that aren't factual, for the fact of them having that trailer say the true life of Tina Turner. That was not true. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And that is them pushing a lie. You know what I mean? That's feeding a lie to people to make them feel some kind of way about this one person. You know what I mean? And like I said, starting off the way we said, there are, for everyone who hated Ike after that and never listened to his music again or whatever, that means other people didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? Other people lost out on money who was affiliated with Ike, who had nothing to do with the beatings and whatever else they said happened, had nothing to do with that. They lost out on some money because of what that movie said Ike was, you know what I'm saying? And basically anybody affiliated with him in the band and all that. So yeah, for them pushing some untruths, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like that, you know what I mean? And it made me not enjoy the movie as much as I did the first time when I watched it again after I knew what I knew. You know what I mean? I'm just like, wow, they really demonizing this guy, man. Like, good grief, you know? And he's a human being. He made mistakes, and I'm pretty sure along the way she made some too. You know, she, and the reason I can say that without being there is because she's a human being. I'm a human being. I've made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you know, all humans make them. That's why we're not perfect. You know. So anyway, that's what it is for me, man. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it an 8. It still is a good movie, and if I take my mind off of the fact of the things that they're pushing, it's still a good movie. I'm going to enjoy the movie regardless. I'm going to enjoy it after we finish this podcast. I'm going to watch it again and then still enjoy the movie. But now, being grown and knowing some of the things I know, I can say, yeah, that's Hollywood.
Yeah,
that's Hollywood. You know, so. So anyway, this was all I wanted to do, man, was just have people look at things differently because, man, there are some people who really look into these movies and they just feel like that's it. You know, the movie, everything is true. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is, you know, but you got to step back and do a little research and you'll see that things are maybe not as they were presented. So anyway, so you guys got it, man. We look like we got a 10 from Bree, you know what I'm saying? 7.5 from X and SC. Got a low 6. You know what I'm saying, from CBR, After the Truth, and I think you rated it higher, 4, and then mine is an 8. So there you go, guys.
About a 7.8 on average.
Yeah,
just about.
Yeah.
Still a good movie.
Still a good movie. Still a good movie, man. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. And if you don't agree with us, man, hey, that's what we're here for, man. Y'all can sign off in those comments. You know what I'm saying, and let us know. Does the movie still stand the same with us giving you some of these facts and everything, or do you feel like we feel like, you got a different perspective on this movie now? Please sign off in the comments, man. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. You know what I'm saying? Definitely like and subscribe. Hit us up on our IG. You know what I'm saying? Our IG for sure. You know what I'm saying? The Hangout Experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do all that stuff, man. And talk to us. Let us know how you feel about it. All right?
Talk to us.
Talk about it.
Come clean.
Come clean.
Tell us.
You know what I'm talking about?
Tell us how you really feel.
That's what I'm saying. How you really feel. Ooh, I like that. How you really feel. Ooh, it might be the new segment, dog. How you really feel. Yeah, man. Yeah. But we appreciate y'all sticking around. Yeah, for sure, right? Y'all stick around, man. We got one last thing coming up, man. And y'all know, man, it's still the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? And because this is all Tina
Hip-hop facts.
you know it. It's coming next, baby. Y'all stick around right after these messages.